Hello my friends, I want to do another video on seborrheic dermatitis, like just another update and a follow-up to the video that I did, I think it was last October. I just cannot believe I've had 32,000 views on that video. That's just, I never expected that, and it just shows how many people are dealing with symptoms described in that video, which could be flaky hair falling out for some people, sadly, very dry skin on the upper chest, on the eyebrows particularly, top lip, and all sorts of conditions, probably a lot of sinus issues as well, maybe blocked ears, all sorts of things. So first of all, I'm sorry that you people are suffering with these horrible things, and I want to tell you that you can get beyond these. You can feel better. And sadly, it does require cutting out some specific foods. And a lot of people have asked me what type of foods I eat, and I'll tell you some of the things I eat in just a moment. But I struggle. I came out of a marriage, 13.5-year marriage, 2 years ago. Sadly, things just did not work out, and I wasn't a cook really in the marriage. Just kind of occasionally I would, just because I didn't really have the skills or experience. And so I've since had to learn to cook, and I still do not have much skills in that area, but I try to get by. So somebody else asked me today if my symptoms, if the diet's been working for me that I follow, and yes, it has. I still I'm almost completely clear of many of the symptoms. Last night I must have ate something, or yesterday ate something that didn't agree with me, because I noticed my sinuses was feeling a little bit stuffy, very minorly, and I had just a tiniest bit of dry flaking here, and yesterday a little bit here, just but very little. And so usually if I eat something I shouldn't, like wheat or dairy, are the usual culprits, or a lot of sugar, the very next day I will see some sort of result, sometimes even a few hours later. And some of the symptoms that I have now usually will be a migraine headache, because I ate something that I thought maybe did not contain wheat but actually did. One other allergy that I've noticed I have is to soy, or soya as they say here in Scotland, and the symptom I get to that one is really kind of weird, and it's itchy hips. So just right at my hip area, my skin gets very itchy, and I don't know if that's something to do with irritation from my waistband on like my underwear, my jeans, or something like that. But yeah, that's a strange one, and it was a bit frustrating, the soy one, because in so many of the dairy alternatives, different treats and things of that nature, they use soy. So I felt like, oh great, this is just more food that I have to cut out. And I have a side job right now that is delivering pizza, and that's difficult because there's often access to free pizza, and they do offer a gluten-free pizza, but something in that pizza actually makes me feel funny, and it keeps me awake, and so I think there's some sort of chemical in there that is not good. And a lot of this stuff is just sort of listening to your body and paying attention to the responses that you have. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's difficult, it's frustrating sometimes when you just constantly can't have certain things, but you do get used to it. And I think there comes a bit of a balance, and maybe if you're watching this video and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want to cut out wheat, I don't want to cut out dairy, I totally get that, and it is a big sacrifice, but you will start to feel better. And as I said in my previous video, the symptoms that you are living without from cutting out things make it worth it. So I know now, like, I think early on when I began cutting out things, I would maybe dabble, but I knew that it would cost me. And now I just feel like it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it for my skin. It's not worth it to get a migraine. It's not worth it just to feel sluggish. And some of the other symptoms, like in Scotland, we eat like fish and chips, and when I would have a fish and chips, I'd feel literally depressed the next day, like awful. And I was studying, I was Googling random things recently, and I recognized one of the things I Googled was, I don't know why I was Googling this, what is the death rate in Scotland? And then I Googled, what is the suicide rate? And the suicide rate in Scotland in 1 year has increased by 15%. And I thought, like, why is that? Surely some of it has to be to do with food. And because just knowing how I feel if I have gluten, it brings a fog and it brings like sort of depression. I thought, wow, there's something that's changed in the food. And some people talk about gluten allergy, wheat allergy. You know, I don't know what it is, but I feel like genetically modified foods, foods that have been sprayed with pesticides, are a toxin in the body and cause all sorts of problems. So who knows truly what the result is? Some of it could be a gut issue, I think, like fermentation, yeast. That would explain the soya, the dairy, the wheat, all those would contribute that too. And also sugar can be a big problem. If you're eating a lot of sugar, that's going to cause you problems. So I'm having a bit of a ramble here, trying to give you some coherent thoughts. You know, there's been a great increase in gluten allergies, so that's just basically, I think, is tied into genetically modified foods and pesticides and things like that. So sadly, that is just the signs of the times that we're living in. But you can get some relief from these symptoms. So just quickly, not to make this video too long, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I eat. I will eat typically eggs in the morning, like fried eggs, sometimes an omelet. I'll have gluten-free toast, sometimes just an apple, bananas, things like that. I'm not the healthiest eater. I do love to make crepes for my kids. I make gluten-free crepes with dairy alternatives. Almond milk is usually the best, sometimes coconut milk. I just find I really love treats, you know, like cookies or things like that. So I find some gluten-free ones. There's a lot of, where I live in Scotland, there's every grocery store now has a gluten-free section, or a free-from section as they call it, and you can find some good stuff there. I will have, you know, things like bacon, gluten-free sausages, gluten-free pasta, rice, most meats I'll eat. Of course, vegetables are fine. I think what my go-tos are. Gluten-free and dairy-free protein shakes. That's really important for me, just as I exercise, try to gain muscle. I have a very fast metabolism as well, so it's important for me to have easy ways of getting food, getting calories in. Let's see what else. Peanut butter, I eat that. Sometimes if I need a quick calorie boost, I'll take a spoon of peanut butter, a spoon of coconut oil. Coconut oil is an excellent source of energy. It's also a fat-burning fat. I drink coffee. I had black coffee for many, many years, and obviously there's no problems with that. Thank God I don't have to cut that out. Let's see. This video is getting a little bit long. Trying to think if there's anything else. But it just really, basically, if something has wheat or dairy or soya, I just avoid it. It's that simple. And I just look on the labels of the foods I'm looking at and really make my decision that way. And again, you just begin to get used to it. You can begin to adapt, and you realize the symptoms aren't worth it. You know, it's not worth having a migraine. It's not worth feeling just foggy and sluggish and all those things. Yeah, there's something else I was going to say, but I forgot. But any questions that you guys have, I'm happy to answer. And what I really want to do is, once, you know, I'm just kind of starting a business here, and once I start making more money, I want to really research healing the gut, healing my gut completely, because I think leaky gut, as I mentioned before, is a factor. That's what causes things like proteins from the dairy, the wheat, to cause an autoimmune response in the body that affects the skin and all these other things. So I do believe there's ways to heal it. I think things like collagen powder, aloe vera, amongst other things. People have mentioned bone broth, but I haven't had time to fully research that. But anyways, guys, I hope that you are able to find relief and get freedom from the symptoms that you're experiencing. And my big suggestion is just to cut things out. You know, perhaps try cutting out dairy for a couple of weeks, see what happens. then maybe cut out wheat, you know, and go back and forth, try to reintroduce things and see how you feel. And you'll know. It's just about listening to your body and seeing how you feel. Okay? All right, my friends. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.